Hello and welcome back to welcome back to more Graphite ASMR. Hello and we're coming back to the last segment of this piece of work that I was working on. I kind of just started getting bored of working on the same thing for hours and hours and hours and hours on top of hours. Though I think it turned out pretty nice. I buffed up some areas that I thought was important, like trying to get a little bit more color onto the water, using the tissue wrapped around your eraser technique to allow us to blend some of the water together. Had to give the grass a little bit more of a darker tone, but all in all, I think what I eventually got was something that was, I think, worth doing. I think it was I recorded the entire process of making it, so it took about 7 hours, 6 hours, I think. But how long is this? I think this is a 1 hour clip as well, which is actually kind of humorous because I did not intend to go another hour on this project. I only wanted to do about a half hour to maybe 45 minutes, just simply because I just didn't want to keep working on it. We gotta go and we have to do new things. We cannot keep nothing is perfect and nothing will ever seem complete when we work on things. So we have to learn that there are times where we pull back and we just accept things as the way they are. So I mean, this also is not discrediting that we enjoy it. Like, I personally think it turned out well. But granted, it's not something that looking at it on TV or looking at it on your phone or on YouTube is not going to do it justice. This is very much so something you'd have to see in person, which is unfortunate. But maybe it's just my camera can't capture all of the little subtle details. But hey, you know what? It's fine. It's okay. We're here to sketch with other people. We're here to listen to a person talk very, very softly into a mic. We are here to find enjoyment and relaxation and the finer arts, I guess. Though one of the things that I recently found out, which was very interesting, is that Vinci, he ended up doing two different. Da Vinci, I believe, did the Last Supper. Man, why am I spacing on this? And then he also did a portrait of Jesus, I believe, which is very interesting because when you look at these older Renaissance era paintings, there's always a sense of realism when it comes to looking at their body, their face. Now, granted, there's some are like, I think I saw a meme where it was the horse, and have you ever drew a horse from the front? Oh yeah, and it's just this like oval thing with a horse head and squiggly legs. It was very, very cute. Right now, Gimli's doing good. He's just scratching at his little towel. I don't know why. Well, he's probably just enjoying himself. As we should. We should always be able to enjoy ourselves. Let's see. So far, like, the only thing, I haven't done anything different through this whole process. The only thing I've done was sort of honed in what it means to make certain areas darker and certain areas lighter. And in doing so, it allows us to generate a specific feel of, for instance, the rock that's near my thumb, the big one on the front, creating different dimensions on the rock to show that it has some life to it. Not that it's versus, let's say, more of the larger rocks that are sitting inside the water. They only have a small amount of themselves showing, where the rest of it's hidden and concealed by the water that's moving. Now, eventually I would like to do some, unfortunately, I had to conduct the taboo of picking up my rabbit and shoving him in my room, so that he's not chewing and scratching on everything in the proximity of this mic. So, in any case, it's not like the techniques that I'm using in order to try to create grasp, pressing it and then flicking it, which then creates a denser bottom portion to a thinner top portion. Plus, on top of that, it allows it to jet off in a random direction depending on, where you flick your wrist to. So it creates it makes the grass look like it flows a little bit. But then again, I'm pretty sure there's other people that have a better means of creating grass. But yeah, it's just attempt to push yourself as far as an artist, see where you can become better at, and then just keep hammering away at it. I find that making art allows us to understand a bit better about our skill. Plus, on top of that, it's amazing how much our emotional state actually translates to how well we are making something. Going back to Da Vinci, they used to... No, that's not the right word. Talking a bit more in depth about some of the things that I believe that gives his style more emphasis, gives it more of a weight. That's why he was renowned, is because as you look upon it, there's multiple instances of Da Vinci. It's never just one singular style of painting. It was always a little bit of something, always, or different sides to how he saw how to do things, which was always fascinating. And so it gives a full image of the artist versus a singular section of how the artist may think. Now, in order to be comfortable with expressing yourself on every single front, and we should be able to express ourselves on every level of ourselves. We have to be able to look at the dark. We have to be able to see our demons. If we don't know the full picture of ourselves. We don't know. It's amazing that when trying to create audio that requires softness and no loud noises or background noises or things of that nature, that's the exact moment when everything in the house begins to get louder. So I had to lock my rabbit in my room so that he's not chewing on everything in the proximity of this mic. I have to close my mom's door so that when she's listening to things on her phone, that it's not traveling up the hallway up to me. Oh well. But in any case, the reason why Da Vinci was capable of achieving such great talent is because he understands himself. This was also during the time of a great Enlightenment period, which actually is kind of funny because it also is the same time period that the Black Death was going about. When we fully understand ourselves, we understand the means of what moves us. We're able to then break down more and more and more about ourselves that are not conducive to growth, that are not conducive to the ability to change to be a better person. We have to be able to and be willing to break things about ourselves that are just not worth holding on to anymore. And so that's where the idea of control comes into play. We have to be able to regulate ourselves, not have something above us telling us what to regulate. Especially when it's that thing that we create. We cannot create anything perfect with an imperfect mind. And there's only one being that I'm aware of that would be considered perfect. Only one being that even could be considered perfect. So let's not fool ourselves into believing that we are the beginning and the end. But the beauty of this is that we can certainly learn from better beings. We are able to learn from better people too. But first we'd have to be able to recognize what is a better person. A better person is clearly someone that is doing something that allows them to achieve goals that they are setting forth and to be able to make new ones, to be able to continue to grow, a person that is capable of change in the right direction. A lot of people like to now, as far as I say right direction, not a good direction, because one of the things that bothers me is when people have a stringent idea of what good and evil is. And the beauty of it is that sometimes you can point out evil instances. You can easily point out the wrongs of society. Very much so. The issue comes into play is when you start thinking on other higher levels, especially when you start looking at the means of what balance really means in our universe. When you start looking into these sort of concepts, these sort of ways of understanding yourself and understanding reality, you begin to sort of start wrapping your head around the idea of what actually constitutes good and what actually constitutes evil. The interesting thing, let's use a moral equivalence of the 10 Commandments. Now, granted, these are commandments that are very interesting because they're all relatively basic. Nothing's too complicated. The only one that I would say that has to be sort of elaborated on was the do not take God's name in vain. And that's not saying like God D-A-M-N or Jesus Christ in a disparaging manner. Though that would be your own personal choices, but what it really more alludes to is the idea of using God's name to gain in personal ways. And what's funny, and this is interesting, is almost every single one of those commandments basically was do not try to gain from the suffering of others. In multitude of different ways. Now, this is not a matter of trying to be religious or anything like that. Just merely pointing out some things that we base our entire country on, which I believe is important to understand. In fact, actually, for me personally, I believe everyone should have a very good and accurate recounting of human history, not the barely coherent and barely a timeline-driven history that we're taught in schools nowadays. I'm not that old, and I'm not that young. I know what it was like to be a high schooler still. And trust me, they don't teach us anything. They don't give us any actual information. They may hint on some things, but all of it's worthless. You're better off and better suited going and trying to learn from people that actually care and want to learn, that want to teach other people what they know and what they've learned, versus these teachers that all they do is sit on their butts and chew and eat away at the souls of kids. It's disgusting. The school system is disgusting. And my apologies, I try not to talk about things, but this was one thing I never liked. I always likened school to the equivalence of a prison system meant to keep kids under the boot of authoritarianism. And it drives me insane. Because now and then you look at what they're doing to our children nowadays, and it's even more disgusting and vile. It's filth, and it should be spit on. It is truly the most appalling thing I've seen in a while. Oh well. But, in any case, we need to be able to understand ourselves and have control. This is one of the things that I'm trying to keep under wraps of when you know you're supposed to be doing certain things, but it's not time yet. You know it's not time yet because the thing that you know you're supposed to be doing hasn't revealed itself yet, though you know it's coming. It's a really weird circumstances to be in, and a lot of people probably wouldn't even understand what I meant by that, and some people actually might. That's the wild thing, is that we all can be living the exact same life on Earth, but somehow we're all different as far as what just our perceptions on what reality is. It's astounding. It truly is a beautiful thing to be alive right now. And it's wild because a lot of people would be like, oh, well, about this and what about that? It's the worst time to be alive right now. And I'll have to push back on that. I really think right now is one of the... I think the ability to be alive in general, living in this planet, or technically living on this planet, is something just astounding. Some people will allow themselves to fall to the idea of nihilism, that all of it means nothing, that there is no meaning in what we're doing, there's no meaning in living right now. And to be truthful, let's see, probably about 3 years ago, I would maybe agree with them, except for I would only agree with them depending on what truths are you aware of in this world. Now, a lot of people would like to argue that, well, I have my truth. And I also will not deny you that. I won't deny that there is a person's singular truth. It's the perspective and the lived experience. Problem being is that doesn't mean it's true. A person can grow up pampered and never seeing the world for what it actually is, and then obtaining positions that would lead them to power that they never deserved, along with an intellect that is incomplete. most of the time, we believe that we understand what the world is like, and then we have the days where we are shown that we know nothing about the world. No, it doesn't matter how high you climb the ladder, you will always find that you only know a very, very, very small portion of what reality is. And the beauty of it is that you can choose to stop learning. You can choose to become nihilistic and decide that this world isn't worth me learning. I will better serve my time and my job, my relationships, and solely put your effort into these sort of circumstances. Some people do this and find meaning in it, find meaning in having a relationship with a wife or husband, and then having kids, and then starting a family. But how long does that motivation last? Okay, you have kids, you have a wife or a husband, you have a family that's started, and then we end up with a 50% divorce rate. I believe it might be because the fact that we stopped learning. We stopped learning what it means to be a man. We stopped learning what it means to be a woman. We stopped learning what it means to be a mother. We stopped learning what it means to be a father. We stopped learning what it means to be able to teach our kids the information we desperately need to know when we are growing up. We are lied to constantly on end and in mass, almost daily, about a life that doesn't even exist. I might be I'm getting too much into the woods. We're past the weeds. We're into the woods now. But the thing is that one of the things that I wanted to do with this channel was to express my thoughts so that those that don't mind hearing me can hear me when I'm trying to select the specific words that I want to say, and it allows me to run down thought processes that it's necessary. It's necessary for someone that likes to learn, that likes to think, that likes to grow. They have to be able to express themselves, whether that is with a number 2 pencil onto a piece of printer paper or in front of a mic to talk softly to a bunch of people that gets the tinglies. Though right now, unfortunately, there's no viewers, so comments are very, very scarce, so I can't grow and I can't learn, but it's fine. All I need to do is keep plugging away, create an archive that people would find plentiful amount of content. Hopefully people enjoy how my voice sounds. It would be nice to eventually get people to comment and tell me where exactly can I do better. But until then, I get to talk about whatever. I get to talk about how my rabbit is now locked in my room and he was chewing on cardboard earlier. The reason why he likes chewing on cardboard, I think probably specifically around me, is because he's like imprinted on me, I guess. Having a rabbit's very interesting. Definitely different than having a dog or cat, because with a dog or cat, they're predators. When it comes to Gimli, he is a rabbit, and he is prey. Instinctively afraid of the environment around him. Instinctively defensive. It's actually so nice to be able to edit while on the fly. So it's Gimli is a prey pet, so it actually takes effort for you to be friends with this animal, that they are comfortable enough around you that you can walk around them and they don't budge. It's actually quite amazing. there's times where he'd be laying down, and I'd literally walk right over him, and he wouldn't move. It's just so fascinating to me. And so it's really fun to have a pet that is so different. It's a new challenge. I grew up with a dog, and I grew up with cats, so it's common, and you know what you have to do in order to train them. You know what you need to do in order to be a proper owner, and to make sure that they don't kill themselves and they don't die, or you are irresponsible and allow them to die and stuff like that. There's a whole lot of stuff that comes with a whole lot of slew of responsibilities that come with owning a pet. And funny thing is actually, that's exactly why I got Gimli in the first place. Back when my father was still in the state that I live in, interstate here, they were raising rabbits. They were raising rabbits specifically so that they had some meat that was sort of more sustainable and wasn't as big of a cow and stuff like that. I just found I also enjoy really cute things, so Gimli is one of the most adorable looking rabbits I've ever had. And there's nothing terribly special about him. It's just that he has like really soft ears. So with a lot of rabbits, the cartilage in their ears get really stiff. Well, with Gimli's, his ears are completely pliable. So you can bend them and like do whatever you want with them. He also has just a little bit of extra skin. So he's like a little bit of a fluffy boy. And he has a cute little belly. He's adorable. I love it. But yeah, so coming back to the piece of work, all I'm trying to do right now is add extra detail in the foreground. So making sure that the hills that are, or the not hills, but the inclines of what's after the shack has grass, that there's rocks there, that maybe it's just finding new challenges fascinating. And that very well could be it. So, work for me, changing subjects, because I only like talking about Gimli as pseudo filler, just because it's something consistent. So right now, work's been starting to pick up a bit more and more. I've had a feeling that would be the case as the weather started to rise, though the jobs are still fairly scarce, but it's enough when you're not living. I don't go out and do anything anymore. Quite frankly, actually, probably because of the whole COVID thing, but quite frankly, I'm actually okay with it. I like the spending of time with friends more so than doing anything else. It's really enjoyable. And it's not like we wouldn't go and do things like midnight bowling or like right now we're starting to get into playing Pokemon TCG, or trading card game, so the Pokemon card game. Surprisingly very, very interesting. We used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then tried to get into Magic, but quite frankly, let's be real, Magic today kind of sus. In any case, but yeah, we're starting to play Pokemon. We want to go ahead and start putting together some sort of off the books Pokemon tournaments where I want to be able to have people bet on their games to see if they will win or lose, which I think will be fun. Just to promote healthy competition, if you know what I mean. But we also have Smash. We have a Wii, whatever that thing, the 3D thing, the one that has the newest Smash Bros on it. I can't remember what version of Wii we are in, or what is it, like Snap or something? I don't remember. Man, my inner boomer is coming out on this one. But yeah, so just been busy. God, we've been busy. It's only been about 2 months of working at just doing things exactly how I would do it, and it's been such a short amount of time, but there has been so much of a progress already, it astounds me. No fear, no regrets, living my life exactly how I am, with no influence of any other person, or just trying to be right with what I know is to be correct. It's just wild. Just really wild. In any case, coming back to the art, the only thing I want to be able to, I should start doing smaller projects that require sketching of a flower or something like that, so I can get a better grasp on foliage. Start doing stuff like trees, so I can get a better understanding of how trees are. Oh man, my apologies. Today I am so tired, and I never was able to. This video was supposed to be uploaded Friday, but I guess I'm now doing it on Monday. Man, I'm tired. And it's funny because I also, once I finish this, then I have to leave and go to actual work, which means that I have to probably cut into some drywall, replace that drywall, and then I don't even know. I have to go get a new key made for customer. What else? It's actually kind of unfortunate because for the one job that I'm working for, or this one place that I'm working for, they want their locks to be sort of redone, or they want to get extra keys for these for this what is it? Lockers. The keys for these lockers so that the patients can put their clothing stuff into. Well, the funny thing is that each one costs like $30 or so odd dollars, maybe more. I think it was like 50. I don't know why, but just it was an exuberant amount of money. Apparently, I can't take their credit card and go and purchase the fabrications through their credit card. And so we're stuck at the stalemate of, well, I'm not spending my money to do work for you when you already have a hard time paying me in the first place. So there's no sense in me putting money out. It's just going to end up being one of those things where they're going to have to take care of it one way or another. Oh well. Right now I'm trying to shade up the shore, trying to get it darker to make it look more like mud. It's actually really hard to make mud in with a pencil. At least I found that it was difficult. Not really sure how to go about that, but oh well. And it's just let's move on to a new topic, because I can't remember what I was initially talking about. In fact, actually, I might just whatever. I'll just leave it in. So yeah, it's there's another job that I have to do, which bricks fell out of the wall, and I have to put these hangers back up along with the bricks, and it's just like, oh my god. Oh, well. Oh, and you can see at least a little bit of me. You can see my burger hat on. Me and my big old red beard. Yeah, that's a burger hat. I don't know why I have it. Well, actually, it was a gift from someone that I know, and I actually kind of enjoy it. Though I'm kind of blocking half of the video with my burger hat. Well, unfortunately, the area that I'm working on is like really, really small, and the how close I have to get to the paper in order to see what I'm doing. Not that it's like I'm going blind, but I'm looking at detail that's maybe, oh man, it's like as small as your pencil tip, so, or the area is probably no bigger than a penny, so I'm trying to make sure that I capture it all how I want to. Oh man. So let's go back to, let's dial this back, have just a sort of, we're on episode 11. I think I might go to 24 episodes per season, and then just that'll be it for one season, because I like 24 episodes. I like the 24 episodes, and I like having the ability to express on all the fronts of what I'm thinking of that specific topic too. So this gives me more, even like I already expressed a good deal of up till now, but let's go back into the concept of control. One of the aspects of control that really people begin to miss is they believe that they require power in order to obtain control, which is actually humorous because it's funny, because in fact I believe it's the opposite. When obtaining control, you obtain more and more power, where some people, or what you would equate to what power is, people don't personally know what exactly power is. They can point it out and say, well, that's what power is, but to describe what power is, it slightly falls short on them. Plus, on top of that, you can look up the definition, and I imagine it'll probably be something the equivalence of the intensity that's behind actions. So power could easily be like force multiplied by weight over distance would probably be that would be also like the kinetic energy. But power is the ability to change the world around you. So if that's the case for kinetic power, then let's look at how influential power, something that a person is capable of convincing someone else that it is. Oh wait, hold on. This is interesting. I'm trying to tackle a concept. So the way that I'm trying to think power. Let's run through the things that we understand about power. Power is corrupting always. Or absolute power is absolutely corrupting. It's the actions of a person that determines whether they should stay in power or be removed from power. Though that can be easily manipulated just by the media. Let's see. And yes, let's not pretend that the media is on our side. Truly an enemy of the people. It's a shame, really. It really is a shame, because how do we begin to trust the world around us when the people that are supposed to inform us are not informing us correctly? It's disgusting. And they should be ashamed of themselves. but they're not, because they have power without control. Amazing. In any case, in order to understand what we can influence, we have to be able to have a control over ourselves on a level that we know what we should be doing. A good instance is when I started coming into the idea of trying to do right by the world around me, as my instincts were telling me to do. To grow, to become better, it's time to stop being a child, and it's time to start being an adult, I guess. Even though at the same time I'm actually more of a child now than I feel more childlike now than I do feel like an adult, though sometimes I feel like I'm 80 years old. Not in a physical sense, but just when I sit there and when I'm doing the dishes and I'm making sure that the dishes are done properly, I feel like I'm paying attention on a greater detail than merely just, dishes are done, good job. No, it's, if the dishes are going to get done, they're going to get done correctly, and if they look like crap, they're going to be done again because they need to be done right. Stuff like that. And it's really interesting because the more that we have respect for the world around us, the more it shows other people that we have respect for the world, for us ourselves. The more we love the world around us, it shows that we love ourselves. Well, no, actually, it's the exact opposite, sorry. As we love ourselves, people are able to see that we love the world around ourselves. And that's how they determine, and the interesting thing is that's how some people determine whether that's a person to follow or not to follow. Are you able to be comfortable with yourself and the world around you? If so, then there's something wrong with you, because the way our world is right now is not something worth being comfortable in. It's decaying, slowly dying, and it's vile. Though at the same time, I'm terribly, terribly happy. So, I guess you can say that I'm not okay with the world that's around me, but I'm okay with myself, so I know that I can survive in this world and not be drugged down to the depths of the void again. It's impossible. Once the scars are healed, once the memories, they don't fade. In fact, actually, your perspective and the outlook you have on the life that you lived, and the life that you're going to be living, and the life that you are now, you become more okay with everything. Though it's not that you would say you condone it, it's just that you know that you can only influence the world on the level that you can, and for some, that's very, very small. For instance, for me, the only thing I can do is try to make better the people around me by giving them an example of something to live for or to live towards, and that's to become better. And the beauty of it is that I have changed myself, so that means that people are able to change. And all you need to do is have one person that can exhibit the signs of change, and the world just changes with it. It's wild. But Jordan B. Peterson was definitely correct when it says to go find the biggest object and lift it and carry it. I guess you can also relate it to this as find the darkest demon in you and conquer it. We only run into the problems of when we begin to run away from our inner darkness, because we have to have balance. with the good comes the bad. Where we shine the brightest, there are areas about us that are the deepest and darkest. We should never fear to journey down those corridors, though, and begin to open up doors of understanding, like thoughts that we have. We need to be able to, but it's when we focus exclusively on those thoughts is when we start to lose a grasp of who we are. We need to know the good and the bad. So when we venture into the bad, we have to understand what the good is, so we don't lose the sense of what is good about us. And that's I guess the basic description of what depression is, essentially. When you do nothing but harbor negativity towards yourself. Depression. That was always something that was an interesting thing to have to deal with. When and I'm not going to say that I'd never experienced depression. I sure have. But as I am now, if I begin to feel that I'm becoming depressed, I find that those emotions are inconducive to who I am, so I just search for the thoughts that are purveying it, and I correct it. So let's say what's causing me depression is, well, today I need to vacuum my floor. I need to vacuum my floor really badly today. Like, really, really badly. It's not that it's terrible. It's just, it hasn't been done in a while and it needs to be done. So, and I've been putting it off, I think, for a week now. But that's the thing, is that procrastinate. To procrastinate. Why do I feel like I'm saying that wrong? No, whatever. But pushing things off. To push things off is to take a shortcut of enjoying yourself now, where you could enjoy yourself after conducting the labor. It's more enjoyable when you do the labor and then you are able to enjoy yourself without the thoughts that I have to vacuum the floor are in your head. That's because you already did it. So there's no sense in holding that within your heads, or within your head. Sense of control. You need to be able to control your mind. You need to be able to control your actions. And you need to be able to control your circumstances too. One of the things that I like watching Tim Pool, the better the circuit. You should only try to control the circumstances that you can control. I need to clarify that, because that's a very key importance. The reason being is because when we try to spread ourselves out too thin, we begin to lose grasp on what reality is, what the truth is, and how to apply ourselves properly. Tim Pool has Ian on his IRL podcast, and he brought up a very good point. Never fight a crocodile in the water. And it's very true, and it's easily used for more than just what they were talking about, which I think was more or less politics involved, but we should be able to choose how we go approach our issues to help begin to unpack the baggage that we carry with ourselves all the time. A lot of people would like to proclaim that they don't nearly have as much baggage as others. That would be terribly, terribly false. You'd be surprised at how much baggage people are willing to carry and not even acknowledge. Or then you got the other side of those that's like the claim that, oh, my dark side is too much for me and I have to try to make sure that it doesn't get out. I love those particular people. I very much enjoy because they're very cartoonish with how they look, how they view themselves. Even though most of the time, these type of people that would say these things openly have a body that, quite frankly, cannot do the amount of destruction that they think that they're capable of. And I know one of these people personally, so I like using it as an example. Or the kids that watched a little too much anime or cartoons and decide to go ahead and try to do a Kamehameha or Kamehameha, whatever, the Kamehameha wave or whatever. Try to do that in the middle of a fight. It's just so funny. I think I've seen it once, and it was entertaining. Though the kid got just thrashed. This is when I tell you that kid was me. No, I'm joking. But we have to be able to understand where we stand with ourselves. We have to understand the fullest extent of who we are. Because if we don't, then we get blindsided by things that are truly about us that we never knew was there. That's never good. We have to be able to know what's going on in the inner workings of our minds. Because if we don't, then what's there? What is there that is not us? That is, let's say, for instance, for me, I like going into my mind and seeing what is there and making sure that there is no influences from other people or influences from a pervading thought that may be tied to particular emotions that are not conducive to growing. So you can't water a plant with Gatorade. You gotta be attentive towards your garden. You have to make sure that you are centered. Now, it's not saying that if you're not, that you're doing something wrong. It's just a mere sign that something maybe you have to be more attentive towards certain things, that maybe there's things that you are not actively taking care of. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where I can't give you all of the information. I can only tell you roughly what I know. And that is only limited to how much of an existence that I've had and how much that I know because how much I've lived personally. How much I know and I've learned from growing personally. How much I know and learn from how other people have been growing as well. And I guess you can say that this is like the equivalence of a spiritual enlightening, but I don't like to liken it to that. I find that it adds too much of a faith to it, where we should be trying to peel back the concept of our faiths because we use faith in order to apply information that's maybe not even correct to scenarios that shouldn't even be happening. Especially, so I have faith in certain things, but I like to go and learn more and more about them so I can gain a better and a fuller understanding of what kind of the circumstances in which we're living in. Like the fact that most of the time we're lied to about our human history. Human history is far more fascinating than anyone gives it credit for. Trust me, it is amazing. And then, don't trust me, go search for it yourself. In any case, we're getting to the end of the video. That's what that thing looks like. That's what my art looks like. And, yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I'm happy that, if you are actually getting to the end of this video, I'm happy. Thank you. And likes, comments, subscribe. Give any sort of constructive criticism that you may be able to give me. And, yeah. Alright, that should wrap up everything. Everyone, have a good day. It's a Monday. This was supposed to be for Friday, but oh well. But have a good one. Bye-bye.